Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And today, I am doing a huge one, possibly the biggest one of all. I am doing a tier list of every Christmas movie I have seen, or I could be forgetting some, but the overwhelming majority. Whew, I can definitely say I've seen a lot. So, if you're wondering, hey, there's not too many on here, it's because I've seen so many, the tier list couldn't handle it. So I'm having to break this up into certain chapters just to get some others in here. But we will start off with It's a Wonderful Life. And the tiers we have here are Christmas Classic, Nice List, Festive, Naughty List, and Cull in Your Stocking. It's a Wonderful Life is a movie I've never grown up on. I've enjoyed it, but I think it's partially overrated. Believe me, I know I'm about to be destroyed in the comment section for that one, so I will put it in nice. I'll put it in nice list. Yeah, there. I think it's good there. I think it's a film that's really interesting. I think it has great ideas, and I think that it explores them really well. It just feels like it's partially kind of rehashing kind of like the Christmas Carol in certain beats. So I have a lot of fun with it, I can say, but it can definitely feel a little bit boring at times and drag a bit. It's not my favorite Christmas movie, but it is one I do say is definitely one of the best. It's not my favorite, but I can definitely say it's one of the best of all time. Now we have The Legend of Frosty the Snowman. This is almost like a sequel to Frosty Snowman. It's about Frosty trying to find a wife. So I enjoy it. I think that it has some memorable moments, but it's not too long, so I'm just gonna move on after just putting this one in festive. I think it's fine. I enjoy my time with it. It's fine. So I'll put it in festive. Now we have Now we have the Christmas movie that all Christmas movies must bow down to. We have Die Hard. Christmas classic. Easy, by far. Definitely a Christmas classic. I love this movie. My favorite movie of all time is Die Hard. A perfect action movie in every sense of the word. A movie that just seamlessly blends festive holiday cheer with action, violence, swearing. It's the entire package. One of the greatest action movie of all time. Only Terminator 2 and Predator and First Blood are ones that I would even put in honorable mentions beside it. Terminator 2 is close, though. But this is just a perfect film, a perfect action movie, the greatest Christmas movie, the perfect Christmas movie. I absolutely adore it. Now we have Charlie Brown Christmas, the Charlie Brown Christmas special. Okay, I will put this one in Christmas classic, but I'm going to put it behind Die Hard. Yeah, I think I prefer Die Hard, definitely, because Die Hard's Die Hard, so I think it's one where it's definitely one of the most iconic ever made, with the famous scene with Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown, which has become one of the most famous scenes in probably movie history, so I think it's a really interesting one, so I have a lot of fun with it. I do rewatch this one most every Christmas. If not, usually every other Christmas. I usually try and watch it at least once every few years, so I do really enjoy my time with this one, so I do really enjoy it. Sorry if I'm not talking too much about these ones. I have several forgettable ones in here that I have either not seen in a while or just have not, ones that are really fresh in my memory. Another one I have not seen in a while, Elliot. It's a film kind of about this reindeer. So I'll go festive, but I'm gonna go behind Frosty, The Legend of Frosty. I would rather watch that. So I think it's fine. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I liked it way more as a kid. So I'll just move on. I'll just move on. Now we have, I believe, it's the one about, I can't remember, it doesn't show the title at the moment because it's in a square, so I believe it's about Santa Claus. It's the one where we get to see the Burgermeister, that type of one. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. But I know this one is really interesting. It's a really decent one, so I'll put it in nice list. Do I go above It's a Wonderful Life? I'll go behind it. Yeah, I'll go behind it. Yeah. That feels right. I have some fun with this one. So a lot of the ones I'm talking about right here are shorts. So I'll put the next short up somewhere, and then we'll move on to two theatrical ones. Then we're back to the shorts. We have a lot of shorts in this one. Now we have The Year Without a Santa Claus. Nice list. Since I'll go in front of the one I just talked about, but behind It's a Wonderful Life. So now, okay, finally, now we have All I Want for Christmas. All I Want for Christmas, okay. This is a tough one. I'll go naughty list. I wasn't a fan of this one. I didn't like it. I thought it was boring, extremely. I mean, there's some fun, like, there's, like, that, little kid that plays in, Hocus Pocus, and I think she's, fine in it, but it's just a film that either has some humor that pretty much never lands, or it just is super boring, so, no comment. Not really interesting at all. Not good. Didn't like it. Bleh. Now we have Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Just so I'm going to say, first of all, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Second of all, Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie. Get over it. It's my list. It's my list. Now, I'm going to take a lot of heat for this one. I'll put this one in nice list, and I'm going to put it above It's a Wonderful Life. Boy, I'm going to get a lot of people screaming at me for that one. I'm just more of a Die Hard action guy than a movie, than a type of, like, film about that type of thing. So I think Die Hard's more rewatchable for me. It also is just something that's more up my alley, and it is a sequel to my favorite Christmas movie of all time. It kind of rehashes the original a bit more. I will admit that. That's why it's not like giving competition to Die Hard with a Vengeance, which is great. But this one's also great. It's a really tough decision between Live Free or Die Hard and Die Hard 2. I mean, most of the Die Hard sequels, except for the Good Day to Die Hard, which is terrible. Except for that one, it's really hard to pinpoint what my favorite sequel is in the franchise. So I have a lot of fun with this one. I think that I think it can get a bit too long at times, but I still have fun with that. This is one that I usually watch every Christmas. I watch this one at least like once every Christmas. I watch the original, then I watch the second, then I watch the original again, and the original again, and the original again, and the original again, etc. I watch the original a lot. I mean, just take this. I've already watched the original 3 times this month, and once in theaters, and I'm now going to be probably rewatching it again for McLean Monday #3. And comment down below real quick if you've seen Die Hard in theaters, and if not, what are you still doing here? Find some way to watch in theaters. It's mesmerizing. You love it. It's like heaven. Okay, now we've got Prep and Landing, the first one. There are 2. We will be talking about the second one shortly. Okay, I will go, nice list. I'll go ahead of It's a Wonderful Life. Believe me, I'm not the one who's wanting the hot take of thinking It's a Wonderful Life is kind of boring. It's just my opinion. Now, let me say, I need to rewatch it. This could go... It's a Wonderful Life could move to Christmas Classic in the future. But as it stands, it's in nice list, and it's a film that I just find that I didn't really resonate with on the level that other people did. I get it. I'm on an island with that one, but still. I think Prep and Landing is a really fun time. I think it's a film that it's one that does not really require much attention. It's like one that you could probably like throw in as like a background thing. It's only like 22 minutes. It's not long. Same thing with the sequel. So I think it's fun. So a lot of these that I'm not spending too much time on are shorts. So soon when we get to the next batch, these should be like theatrical movies that I will have a lot more opinions on. So I can definitely say it's pretty good, but I will not say it's like great like some of the ones that we have in Christmas Classic. Which I'm looking at the rest of this. We're not gonna be getting some more Christmas classics. Well, not too many more. Now we have Frosty the Snowman. Correction, this will go in Christmas Classic. This is a Christmas classic. It will go at the back of it though. I prefer Charlie Brown's Christmas. So I think that this is a timeless movie, something that's everyone knows about. Even if like everyone knows like Frosty the Snowman. Everyone. It's a carol. It's everything. So I mean, do I really need to justify why it's in Christmas Classic? It's just such a timeless movie where it's not very long and it just really flies by and it's pretty decent. And now we've got not Charlie Brown. I was gonna say Charlie Brown. Now we have Frosty the Snowman, Winter Wonderland. This is another like sequel type thing to it, but this time it involves humans. So, yeah, I will go. It's more of like a school type coming of age movie. It's hard to explain. Watch it for yourself, and you'll see what I mean. It's odd, kind of, but it's fine. I like it. So I'll go. I'm bored. I'm either going nice list or festive. I will go. Oh, this is a difficult one. I think I will go nice list, but I'm gonna go at the back of nice list. Actually, no, I prefer it over this. Yeah, I prefer it. I'll go above The Year Without a Santa Claus. I know this is. I mean, I have some hot takes for Christmas, so believe me, I'm not the one who wanted to be the guy that everyone hates because of the Christmas hot takes, especially It's a Wonderful Life. Thanks a lot, It's a Wonderful Life, for giving me that hot take. Okay, now we have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Christmas classic, baby. I think I'll go above Charlie Brown's Christmas, actually. So that's ironic. Right now, Die Hard is the only movie in Christmas classic that's not a actual like short type thing. It's hilarious. That'll end soon, believe me, it will. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, another one of the most iconic Christmas things of all time. Like, it's also weird that they start off a kids movie explaining like if you've seen the opening scene, like where it's like black and white, and, like snowstorms, and like it's explaining some not very kids type stuff. It's like, oh wow, they're really starting up dark. So I have a lot of fun with this one. It's one that's only like, it's like a little less than an hour, so it's really fun. And some of the things haven't aged the best, especially when I watched it when I watched parts of it, I realized, wow, this really has not aged well. Especially the fact that, like, with the way they move, they have to use some things to make them move, so it doesn't look very good, but it's a classic. We all know it is. And now we have Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Come on. We all know where this is going. Christmas classic, baby. And it's going behind Die Hard. Sorry, no. Dang it. There. Behind Die Hard, because Die Hard's Die Hard, but Home Alone 2 is Home Alone 2. This is one of those types of movies where if you hate on this movie, I'm sorry to say, you're an idiot. This is a fantastic sequel to its predecessor, where it just goes bigger and it goes better for me. I prefer this to the original. It's not very much. It's not by much. I just think that this one has more heart to it. I think that there's some things in the original that make it like it's a bit more mean-spirited at times. This one feels like it's a bit more heartfelt, especially the way that in the original Kevin's fighting the bandits to defend himself. In this one, he's fighting them because he wants to save kids in the hospital that Harry and Marv are robbing from, which is actually pretty good of Kevin to do. So he didn't have to do that at all. He could have easily just looked the other way, which is why I just think it has more heart to it. I think the traps are very much more violent. Like, you get to see, like, them getting lampposts to the face, like, them getting a tool thing to the door, which goes, like, bang to them. They're so funny. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just thinking these traps are so funny in the movies. Pull yourself together, man. But believe me, the traps are so funny in this, and they get so painful. Although, if I had to point out a flaw, it's that this is very much a flaw for Home Alone 1 and 2. And this is actually a flaw that Home Alone 1 and 2 have that 3, 4, 5, and 6 don't have, which is actually a flaw I have for 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that is that they're straining logic that, especially 2 by far the most, if you take a look at the traps, most of these traps where they killed them, like Harry and Marv, like especially that scene where he's like throwing the bricks down. Where he's like throwing the bricks down and hitting Marv repeatedly in the face. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to be laughing a whole lot when I'm talking about Home Alone 1 and 2. But when he's like hitting Marv with the bricks to the face, and he just keeps getting hit over and over again. The first one definitely would have caused him brain damage. The second one most likely would have definitely possibly killed him. The third one would have broken his skull probably. And the fourth one definitely would have broken his skull. His skull would have been broken on this, like, third one, max. So, like, if we're going for the lowest, it could have been broken on the first one because of how high it was from. And like the lamppost thing would have broken Marv's skull. The scene where like Marv gets electrocuted. Marv really gets this. Really gets a lot of pain in this one, especially. That would have killed him. The way that he gets electrocuted, he would have been killed from that. When Harry puts his head in the toilet full of kerosene, that would definitely have killed him. There's no way you could justify the fact that a guy puts his head in a toilet that explodes. There is no way at all he could have survived that. So I love this movie. It's a classic by all means. It's in my like top 40 of all time. I think top 40 or top 30. I think it's right outside my 30. So it's really, I love it. Oh no, now we have a really opposite one. Now we have Home Alone 4. I think it's called Home Alone 4 Taking Back the House. Colton, you're stalking. Yeesh, this movie is terrible. I'm going to say this, the Home Alone sequels, woof, after 2. Like 3, 4, 5, and 6, I really enjoy the fact that 1 and 2 are so over the top and bonkers with the fact that they just go completely nuts with the violence in that. And I just find it hilarious. And then I hated that 3, 4, 5, and 6, none of the traps are lethal. You could have survived most of the traps. I mean, 3 has one where like a lawnmower starts like coming down on a guy and it gives him a haircut. He would have been shredded in half by the thing. He would not have survived that. So I believe there's like 1 and 3, but other than that, this is terrible. This one is awful. And the worst part is, I still find this one is by far better than 5 and 6, which just goes to show how low this franchise can dip. Oh, wow. Wow, this really is, wow, it's that bad. I hate it. I don't want to mention it. I hate it. And believe me, we're going to talk about some really bad ones, because Christmas has some of the greatest Christmas films has some of the great films of all time, and some of the worst. Believe me, they dip hard. Now we have 8-Bit Christmas. At the time I'm filming this, I actually just got done watching it. 8-Bit Christmas, I will go nice list. I'll go right above Prep and Landing. The reason it's not higher is they did one of the most unforgivable sins of all time that I even brought up to my family. Do you know what they did? It takes place in the 80s, and there's only one, and there's not a single reference to Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. That is an unforgivable thing. If you're in the 80s, you need to reference Arnold or Stallone if you're bringing up a movie that's, if you're like trying to be in a time period of the 80s. There's like one about like landmines that you could reference about like Rambo First Blood Part 2. But other than that, it is not referencing it at all. How dare you? There's one reference to Die Hard where a kid that's allowed to watch rated R film says, "Hello, ma'am. Do you think Die Hard is a Christmas movie?" We all know it's a Christmas movie. You ever wonder why Die Hard's on this list? Because it's a Christmas movie. We all know it. People are just in denial because they're jealous of the fact that Die Hard's perfect and Die Hard's a perfect movie, and they couldn't make a perfect movie if they tried. So I think 8-Bit Christmas is a really decent time, so I have fun with it. So I would definitely check it out if you haven't already. There's some really funny 80s things that you will get. If you grew up in the 80s, you will love it. You will think it's absolutely hilarious. Now we have a new film from 2023, Dashing Through the Snow, a film that stars Kevin Hart as Santa Claus, in fact. So I will go festive, but it's gonna go at the back. Whoops. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's fine. I'll go a bit more in depth upon this when I do my 2023 list, but it was fine. I mean it's serviceable. It's just kind of mediocre. It stars one of the characters of the Fast and the Furious, the one that always bickers with Roman. The one that has the banter between Roman and him. Can't remember his name. He's the main character, so it's fine. Fine. Now we have the second Prep and Landing. I will go in nice list, but I'm going to go above the original. I think here's the reason why. I think this one is just more accessible. I think this one fits a more surface level story in which it feels a bit more darker. It gives us a much more depth to some of these characters, like Dwayne and like giving in his brother. So I think that's a much more, I think it's a much more touching story, and I think it's a lot more dramatic, and I think it's really interesting, some of the things they do here. So if you haven't seen this one, maybe check it out. Especially if you like the first one, you'll probably like this one better. I think it's just also as a bigger third act that I think is better. And I think that Prep and Landing, really, the original starts to lose steam after they go on the mission. That's where it like really takes a back seat. So I think it's the original's good, but it starts to slow down soon. But the original, I mean, the second one doesn't usually start to slow down probably at all. So it's a really decent one. So I have a lot of fun with it. Now we have Mickey's Christmas Carol, the greatest Christmas Carol of all time. I've only seen two. We will talk about another one in a while. Because, boy, this movie, I mean, this video is going to be long, just so you know. I do not know how long it is at the moment, not present. Me, the one that's going to be having to edit all of this, is going to find out, and is going to be kicking past me for having to make such a long rant video on it. But I will go Christmas Classic, baby. We will go, let's go, I'll go above that. I'll go above Charlie Brown. I'll go above Rudolph, yeah. That seems right. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so I think it's one where they give, I think that a lot of the characters are good, like making Goofy, the character that Scrooge knew, his partner. I think that's funny. Donald as, like, someone that's actually festive was a complete surprise to everyone. Donald being somebody that's actually nice and likes Christmas. We would have all thought he would be Scrooge, if anything. I mean, because it's Donald. Donald. So I think it's really entertaining. I think it's very touching by the end. So it's definitely a great little touching type story. So I have a lot of fun with it. And now we have Home Alone 5, The Holiday Heist. Oh, wow. Oh, Lord. This movie is terrible in every sense of the flipping word. This movie is horrible. It goes in coal in your stocking. And it goes at the back. It is one of the worst movies I have ever seen. It is so... I mean, it's... The worst part about this film is that it commits the unforgivable sin of that it's boring. At least some of the others are just bad. Like, 4 is not boring. It's just bad. Like, Home Alone 6 is not boring. It's... Actually, no, it is kind of boring as well. 3 is not... Well, actually... I mean, yeah, 3's... Actually, no, 3 is boring. 4 is, like, the only one that's not boring. It's just bad. But, this one is so boring. I really could not get through this. This one, of all of them, feels the most, like, direct-to-video by far. This one feels so direct-to-video, like it's such a generic Christmas movie that's supposed... Where all the comedy is forced. It is so unbelievably unfunny. It is painful. It is terrible. In every sense of the word, it is horrendously bad. I hate it. Everything about it. It's awful. I would say I would never watch it again, but I'm going to have to, sadly. So it is terrible. I hate this film, and it is awful. Now, everyone, give me 1 second while I quickly have this teleport to future times with another batch of Christmas movies I'm about to be ranking. So, I will see you guys in a second. Hold on. Hello, I am finally back, and we have another batch. And first up, we have A Christmas Story Christmas, a sequel that actually is faithful, is actually a sequel that you can watch as a companion to the original, and it actually does not try and sabotage the original like A Christmas Story 2 tried to. I have not seen it, although I believe it actually held the record for the most disliked preview of all time when it first came out on YouTube. I believe that's actually a title it had. And there's actually a really funny Letterboxd review on Letterboxd that says, I once saw a pretty graphic photo of a dead body, and this says, this was worse. And they were reviewing A Christmas Story 2. This is A Christmas Story Christmas, a legacy sequel to the original, acting as a sequel to the original. They get all the actors back except for the mother, who I believe was recast, and the person that plays the father in the original has been dead for a long time, so they couldn't use him. So So this is just a great sequel that it actually manages to not disrespect the original, but respect it as well as doing its own thing and not rehashing it. So I will go nice list, and it's going high. It's going behind Die Hard 2, Die Harder, because it's Die Hard 2. I have to say I love Die Hard. I love me some Die Hard, except for that unforgivable atrocity of A Good Day to Die Hard, which was anything but good. So next up we have the original A Christmas Story, and I will go Christmas classic. We all knew it was going to be a Christmas classic. It will go right here. Nope. I will go right there. Yeah, I like that. I think I would take Mickey's Christmas Carol over it. So I think that there's some jokes like the repeated thing of "you'll shoot your eye out, kid." That's always just so funny, and just the way that he makes his face, it is just so hilarious. There's so many things in that like that that are just so memeable with like his face, and I just find that so funny. So I do have a blast with this movie. It's definitely a classic. Most of these Christmas movies I did not grow up with. I think I grew up with Prep and Landing. Other than that, I was not old enough for things like Home Alone or A Christmas Story. I definitely wasn't old enough for Die Hard. So very few Christmas movies that like I grew up on the Polar Express too, which we will not be talking about for a bit of time. It's in this list I have right here, but we won't be talking about it yet. But okay, now we have Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. I will go nice list. I will go right. I'll go. I think I'll take it over. It's a Wonderful Life. And Prep and Landing 1. Yeah, that's about as high as I'm gonna go. Yeah, I think it's a really decent movie. This is also something I grew up on. I grew up on this one, and it's no wait, that's Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas. Sorry, I knew it looked a bit too new to be made when the original was. And here we have the original as well, so I'll also stick that one up there. I think I prefer the original slightly. Yeah. Good thing that the tier list makes room. If you're hearing creaking, sorry about that. So by the way, I think that the original one's slightly better, but I do enjoy both. But I cannot really comment on them. They're basically like types of anthology films. So it takes like the Mickey universe with like Christmas and like intertwine. The second one in particular like really intertwines the stories and like for like one big last story. So it's really decent. So I have a lot of fun with it. Now we have the Santa Claus to the Mrs. Claus. A great sequel to the original, actually. This was a pretty big failure in terms of critics, I think. Actually, I don't know. I mean, I've heard that a lot of people don't really enjoy the Santa Claus sequels. I will go... this is where it gets dicey. I think I'll go above 8-bit. That's as high as I'm going. I get it. Die Hard 2 is not going to be top for a long time, if not ever, because I love me some Die Hard 2. That's just such a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I think it's pretty underrated. I know a lot of people like to say it's not. I think people say it's that Live Free or Die Hard is better. I disagree, but I mean they're close, but still. Film Kids really angry at the comment section for that one. But I do have a ton of wait, what was I? What did I put in again? Santa Claus 2, yeah. I think it's definitely the one with the most heart to it, especially that scene with like the faculty. That's such a heartwarming scene, and I really enjoy that scene in particular. So I think that this is a great heartwarming film that I newsflash, didn't grow up on the Santa Claus movies either. Very few I grew up on. I grew up with the Grinch though, so I do think that it's a great little thing. So I do have a lot of fun with Santa Claus too. Now we have A Boy Called Christmas. I'll put this one in festive. Okay, where do I go in festive? I think I'll go right here, around the middle. No, stop fighting with yourself. So I think it's a much more kind of darker version of a Christmas type thing where we see how Santa like grew up and as a child. I think that the actor that plays him is really good at it. And I think there's actually the person that plays Professor McGonagall as a main character in here. She's not seen much. We see the younger version of her mostly in this, and then we see a version that we see her do something that gives us like a twist, like, oh, she was the person that was younger, and so it's complicated to explain. So I would watch it. A lot of people don't like it. I actually find it decent. Now we have How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Okay, here's the thing. I enjoyed the 2018 one more, but this is a Christmas classic. But if I'm going on my opinion, I would say it is Christmas classic. But I enjoyed 2018 more. But is that a Christmas classic? That's the thing. That is a really bad... Oh, dang it. Oh, this is really going to be hard. I think it's a bit shorter, so I'm going to go... I think out of respect, I will go... Right. I prefer Die Hard 2. I am sorry. I love Die Hard 2. It's a 4-star film for me. I mean, so are 8-Bit and Onward Up. They're 4 stars. So I really enjoy it. So I am sorry. I get I'm on an island with Die Hard 2, but I really enjoy it. I think it's a Christmas classic. I can't go outright Christmas classic at the moment. It could change. I could switch them up there, but at the moment I'm going to go off of my opinion, and I would say right now I prefer it. And I'm not putting Die Hard 2 in Christmas classic. I'm not that crazy. I know a lot of people would immediately just unsubscribe if I did that. They're like, okay, I enjoy Die Hard 2, but don't push it, Buster. So, okay, I won't push it. Okay, now we have The Nightmare Before Christmas. Is this a Christmas film or a Halloween film? Comment down below. I just decided to include it, to throw this in a... I will go nice list. I will go right behind 8-Bit. Actually, no, I'll go right... Actually, no, I'm going to put it downward. I'm going to go right... Actually, no, it's going pretty darn back. It's going to go right here. It's going to go... Oh, wow, I really put it near the back. I think it's a film that genuinely just kind of creeps me out with, like, the animation and stuff. It's more of a Halloween-type film. That's another reason why it's so low. It's not really a Christmas film, so I would take most of these Christmas films over it. So I get it. It's probably a classic for some people. It's just never been one of my favorites. It just kind of creep me out a bit. So I get it. It's probably a Christmas classic. I just don't resonate with it as much. Now we have where did that come from? Now we have How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Sorry, I know that was a forced accent, but still, it's a pretty good accent from Jim Carrey. This is the version of The Grinch that Jim Carrey adopted. I do enjoy this movie. I'm gonna go right. I'll go here. I think I'll take the second prep and landing over it. I think that there's just some mean-spirited humor in here that always just kind of keeps me away from it at moments. It's like, okay, you're being a bit meaner now. Like, okay, let's tone it down a bit. Tone it down. I mean, I do enjoy the film, but even I can admit there's some stuff that can either come off crass or just plain old mean at times. So I have fun with this one. This was my least favorite at one point. Then I talked to a friend and it just became my favorite immediately because it was his favorite. And then it just dropped down again. It's one that's like a roller coaster. And I was going to include the meme one on this list, but I was going to be like, wait. It's literally about a time where they're not celebrating Christmas, even though it is Christmas time. And I was like, oh, okay, no. I need the Home Alone sequels to be shamed. I cannot put the meme one on there. I don't consider it a Christmas film. I will stab myself in the eye before I say that's a Christmas film. Now we have The Grinch from 2018? I think it was 2018. People are not going to be happy. I'm going to put this one as a Christmas classic for me. It's just for me. It's my taste. I'll go right here. I loved it. Right, it's really decent for me. I get it. I'm on an island with this one, but I really enjoy Christmas. The Grinch from 2018. I think it just gives more of a compelling character arc for the Grinch, whereas it feels just like it's more earned, where they're building up to it more, and it feels like more of a character study for the Grinch at moments. Yeah, it feels like more of a character study for the Grinch in this one. It also feels like it can balance the humor with the heart moments. And it feels like the Grinch is a lot nicer in this one, while still being the guy that still can come off as a bit mean at times. I think the animation is stunning. I also saw this in theaters. That can play a key role. I have nostalgia. I saw it in theaters, so I did really enjoy this movie, but I saw it in theaters. I think that, what is his name? He plays Doctor Strange. Yeah, it'll come to me. I all I know is that he plays the voice of the Grinch. I think he's really good in it. So I do really enjoy it. Now we have Home Alone. Da, da, na, 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 na. We all know where it's going. Christmas classic. And it's going right behind Home Alone 2. I think, like I said, Home Alone 2 has more heart. And it's just a bit more rewatchable because it's longer, and it also goes a bit bigger and badder with like the traps, so I just prefer it slightly. It's not by much, believe me, they're interchangeable, but and I think that around the time where Kevin starts to more mature into like the person that does that, it feels like it starts to slow down. So I think that it's funny. I mean, it's a fantastically funny movie. It was hilarious when I found it out. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I loved it. So it is definitely a great movie that I do have a lot of fun with. So if you think that this movie is great, well, it should be all of you. But if you're one of the people that stayed away from the film because you actually found out that there were sequels after 2 and that you were told that they're absolutely terrible, just watch 1 and 2. Just do it. Just watch 1 and 2. Hold on, there's going to be a quick little cut. Okay, again, I am back. Sadly, I don't know if this one, I don't know if my channel is able to be used as a podcast, but with the amount of cuts that's going to be coming around with my video because of how many times, because the tier list cannot handle this much memory in one thing for me to do it all in one go. I have to cut it up into parts. I don't know if it's going to be able to be like a podcast type thing, so I have no idea if it's going to be able to. So anyway, now the Polar Express. Yep. Christmas classic. And it's going right behind Home Alone. This, man, it is, it's so close between Home Alone and the Polar Express for my favorite Christmas score. That, the score for the Polar Express, magical. That just hits me home in the heart. That is something that is great. Although I will admit the animation is terrible. The animation is so creepy. The animation, when you look at it, it looks so unbelievably creepy. And why is Tom Hanks everywhere? He plays so many characters in this film. He plays the conductor, I believe. He plays several characters. I believe he also plays Santa in this. He plays like that homeless type guy that I cannot tell is imaginary or is real. He plays like this puppet that's basically just the homeless guy using as a puppet. He plays so many characters. I'm due for a rewatch on the film, but it's a fantastic film that I love, and is debatably has the best Christmas score of all time. It might have it. I'm gonna listen to the score as soon as I finish this cut. Now we have A Christmas Carol from 2009, the Jim Carrey interpretation. I'll go at the back of Nice List. I think that it's one that really can lose steam at times. Like, when it loses steam, it can lose steam hard. But I do find that this movie is pretty entertaining at points. It's a very dark movie, and like the Polar Express, the animation is pretty bad as well. The animation is also pretty creepy here. It looks pretty unsettling. So it's not one I revisit much. I have... Sorry. I have fun with it. I do. It's just one that it's a bit creepy to look at. It's much more of a dark version. It's very dark. So I have fun with it, but it's not one I usually rewatch as much. Now we have The Muppets Christmas Carol. I'll go above Jim Carrey's Christmas Carol. But I'm just going to leave this one. I have not seen this one in a long time, but I'm just going to put it there. So now we have Christmas with the Cranks. This competes with Deck the Halls for the most underrated Christmas movie for me. So I will go... I'm going to go high in Nice List. High. I'll go above Santa Claus 2. I know, I'm going to get a lot of hate for that one. Actually, no, I'll go behind Santa Claus 2. Actually, no, I'll go behind 8-Bit. Actually, no, yeah. Sure, this is going to take a long time. Yeah, there. I think that's good. I think that it's one that has a pretty good cast, and especially getting the Scream Queen Jamie Lee Curtis in here. You get what is his name? He plays Buzz. He also plays Santa in the Santa Claus trilogy. Tim Allen. Tim Allen. I'm really good at these actors' names. I'm really good at this. So I think that Tim Allen's also pretty decent in this. So I find that they're amazing. So I think that it's a fun Christmas movie. I have no idea why it gets so much hate. I get it's a bit more. I get that the Cranks are a bit jerks. At first I assumed that they were, since it was called the Cranks, they were just gonna be very mean people. I don't know why. It was just because their last name was Crank. So I think it's fun, but I get that it's a lot of people would be very angry if I put it any higher. So I'm not going to. Especially since if I put it over Santa Claus 2, people will be furious. So join me in my next cut in 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we have another batch of them. And now we have Noel Naughty List in the back. I did not like Noel. Thought it was pretty bad. It was extremely boring, but I was thinking about Coal in Your Stocking, and it may go there later, but I'm saving right now. I'm saving Coal in Your Stocking for the Home Alone sequels, because boy, woof, those sequels are so bad. So I did not like Noel. I thought it was extremely boring. It's partially like Elf in like the first part, where it's this person coming in not knowing anything about the culture. So in that sense, it's kind of like Elf. But in the other sense, it just gets so bogged down and boring at times. And you got, I can't believe it's the actor that plays Richie in It Chapter 2. He had It Chapter 2 and this in 1 year, which was not a very good year for him if this was the only films he had, because those were 2 bad films. It Chapter 2 is way better, I can say. And I did not like It Chapter 2. Which, I mean, it's... ugh. I mean, the first hour is pretty decent. I mean, really good. It's a great first hour, and then the second hour is awful, and it just gets so boring. And then the third act is just embarrassing what they do to Pennywise. Now we have Elf, Christmas classic. I'm not gonna deny it. I'm not gonna deny it. Believe me, I won't. It's part. Where would I put it? I'll go over A Christmas Story. Yep, and over that, and that. But I'm going to put Polar Express above it. I know, I get it. I'm sorry. But I just prefer that. But I can definitely say I used to think it was overrated, and I was like, what crack am I smoking? Thinking about what was I on? Because this movie was great. The last time I watched it, it has a lot of really funny moments, especially that scene where Buddy puts a lot of the alcohol into the cup, thinking it's what is it, syrup. And like a friend of mine that was at the party with me, it was like an elf party type thing, and he's like he said my name, saying why are they on the table, and I was like, there's alcohol, they put alcohol in their drinks so they're drunk. And man, that was hilarious. So it's an undeniable Christmas classic, but I would say the Polar Express, Home Alone 2, and Die Hard are better. Oh, Lord help me. Home Sweet Home Alone. Can somebody give me a barf bag, please? Coal in Your Flipping Stocking. And I'll put it above Home Alone 5. Out of spite, I wanted to put it at the back. I would say it's more entertaining than the 5th one, because that one's just so unbelievably boring. But it is easily the worst made of all of them. It's debatably the worst. It is not debatably. It is the worst of all of them. Definitely, probably. I just say 5 is worse. 4, most people say is the worst. I have no idea why. 4 at least has some ideas that are interesting. With something at least brought back Marv. Home Alone 5 and 6 are just plain bad. I mean, so are 3 and 4, but 5 and 6 really push the boundaries. And feel by far, of all the Home Alone sequels, 5 and 6 feel the most direct-to-video. And 6 feels like it's just a straight-to-TV Disney Plus original, and it's not good. I'm not even going to talk about this film out of spite. It's just so bad. The way that, and it's supposed to be almost like a remake of like the original, because of how it just rehashes the original. It's almost beat for beat the original. There's like a scene where the kid's jumping on the bed. The way that with popcorn. Just everything is so much like the original, but we then later get to see Buzz as a police officer, the actor that plays him in the first two. And so we know it can't be a reboot because after that we see him again eating like a burrito in his car as a police officer, and he's like telling a story to a guy that said that there was a Home Alone reporting that somebody was home alone, and he said, "Nah, it's a fake. My cousin, it's like my brother Kevin got left home alone when he was a kid." And he's like, twice. With like an ashamed little face on it. He's like, twice. And every year he makes a prank call saying that there's someone home alone. It's like revenge. So they're like doing callbacks to the first Home Alone, but it can't be the original. It can't be a Home Alone one. So it's just so odd. Now we have the Santa Claus Christmas classic. Yeah, okay, that. Yeah. I think I'll go right behind Elf. I think it's a great movie. I think this is debatably one of the most iconic Christmas movies. Elf, Home Alone are probably the two most iconic. Die Hard's the best of them, but I would say those are probably the two most iconic. So I absolutely adore the Santa Claus. I think it's a great Christmas movie. It's one that's just so great. It's a coming-of-age movie that I absolutely love. The third film is not good. I'm probably not. And, I mean, the second one's really entertaining. But I think the original one's close. The original one's so great. So I think I don't really need to talk about this one. I don't need to convince you why it's a great movie. It's a classic. And now we have, what is it called? Arthur's Christmas. This is also one I grew up on. And it will go in Christmas Classic. And I don't care. This is my list. I didn't say it was the right list. But, okay, I'm going to say we're there, guys. This is like, yeah, I'll put it there. This is like where we're going to get a lot of Christmas classics. Although we still got a few movies that are not very good. Arthur's Christmas, you got James McAvoy as playing voicing the main character. This is an animated movie. If you've seen it, you will know this is a great movie. I really enjoy it. I think that it's really entertaining. I think that most of the characters are likable. There's like a hilarious joke that I always found funny where Arthur is in like the ship that's enormous, by the way, and he's like going through like the dungeon, not dungeon. He's going through like the hallway after stealing the bike because he needs to return it to the kid that didn't get the present, and then one of the elves says, "Arthur, come back here. That is not a toy." And then she's like, "Well, it is, but I mean that's not the point." And then she's like, "Arthur." I just love the way that she's like, that is not a toy. I mean, well, it is, but still, I love that. I love that line. It's just so great. Now we have Deck the Halls. Nice list, and I will go above 8-bit. Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. This actually on Watch Mojo, I believe, was number 2 of worst Christmas movies ever. This was, I believe, number 2. I have no idea why. I find this movie great. I think that the humor is pretty funny. They can have some like raunchy type comedy at one point, at a few moments that are funny. There's like this really funny scene where the two dads of Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito are like just they start hitting on 3 performers that are on stage in like skimpy outfits. It's hilarious, and then the funniest scene of all is like when they're hitting on them the entire show, and then as soon as they turn around, they realize that 2 of the performers are Danny DeVito's daughters, and one of them is Matthew Broderick's daughter, and they were hitting on their own daughters. It's hilarious. I love that. I thought that was hilarious, and so I think it's hilarious. I think it has some heart to it, and I mean, Danny DeVito's wife is a great singer, but I mean, her voice kind of gets on my nerves at times. I have no idea why. But I think it's a great, funny movie that is pretty funny. I usually watch this every Christmas, so sue me. I find it funny, and I don't care what anyone else says. Just so funny. And I'm more inclined to watch this one than Santa Claus. I'm more inclined to watch this one than Santa Claus 2 and A Christmas Story Christmas. So, now we have Violent Night, the newest entry on this list. This will go in Christmas Classic for me. I don't care. I love it. I think it is a Christmas classic. I will go right above Rudolph. I love it. I think it's awesome. This is like a very brutal movie. It's an extremely graphic one where we get just some amazing scenes, like that action scene with Santa taking out the Death Squad is awesome. Everything a guy who loves violence likes to see. I know you guys are thinking I'm just such a demonetized. Like I've seen too many things, so I'm now demonetized. I get it. So, Violent Night is just so awesome. I think that can't remember his name. The guy who plays Santa Claus in this. I love how he's a much more darker version of Santa Claus. So I think it's really funny just the way that he's like a drunk in a lot of the scenes at times. So I think it's super funny. So I really enjoy this. I think that his portrayal is really interesting, and the violence is great. It has some CGI. It's mostly used in the action scene, which is one of my flaws was that if you take a look at the action scene, a lot of the blood is digital, and one of the reasons it's so dark in that scene is because I believe they're like trying to hide the fact that it is digital blood, and it works well enough. So I do have fun with this one, and it is a Christmas classic for me. Sue me. Real quickly, hold on one second, guys. I need to add another film on this list. I'm back. I've said that several times in this video already. Sorry. Okay, I just added a Garfield Christmas to here because I just wanted to include it, and this goes in nice list. And this is going to go. This is my favorite Garfield Christmas in Garfield like a special thing. I will go right here. No. I will take Die Hard 2 over it. Die Hard 2 is awesome, so I'm just going to have to say you have two Die Hard knockoffs right beside each other. You had Die Hard 2, Die Harder, and then right above, that's Violent Night. Because Violent Night is very much Die Hard and Home Alone combined, and Die Hard 2 is basically just Die Hard combined with the sequel. Die Hard combined with Die Hard. It's basically just a rip-off of Die Hard. Hilarious. Die Hard 2 is a rip-off of its own predecessor. It's hilarious. But Garfield Christmas, I think it has heart. At certain moments, it's a short, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it, like a few seconds. So I think it has fun with the humor at times. It's not very long, so it's like a quick little get in, get out. I usually watch it on Christmas Eve or day, usually Eve. So I have a lot of fun with it. This is also one I grew up with, so I do love it. So that's one of the reasons it's so high. Now we have Miracle on 34th Street. This one will go in nice list. It will go right here. Actually, no, right here. I know, I just put one of the most, probably the most celebrated Christmas movie below possibly the most hated. I am sorry. I'm really going to be infuriating people with that take. I am sorry, but this is my list. I didn't say it was the right list. It's just my list. So, I have a lot of fun with Miracle on 34th Street. I've always found it, in terms of, like, people saying it's like the greatest Christmas movie of all time, a bit overrated. I'm going to be so destroyed for that one. I just think Die Hard's better. You got a lot of great movies that are in Christmas. It's just, I think that there's some movies that I think are better. So I have fun with it. I think that it's great. It has heart. It's just a movie that if I'm inclined to watch some Christmas movie, it's not one I'm going to revisit. It's not going to one that I'm going to be like, hey, let me throw on Miracle on 34th Street, especially if I have like Die Hard or Home Alone 2, Violent Night, Grinch, Garfield. A lot of those ones on the as ones I can watch instead. Now we have Santa Claus 3, naughty list, but I'll go at the top. It's definitely more watchable than All I Want for Christmas or Noel. Definitely, but it's not really good. It's by far the worst of the Santa Claus movies. By far. By a landslide. Not even close. And just so anyone is wondering, I have not seen the show yet. The Santa Claus show. It's on my radar. I need to. I know that. I have not gotten on it yet, but I think that Jack Frost is a bit weird in this. I don't know if he feels kind of like an afterthought at times. Like he's in it for a tiny bit, then he like disappears for like a big chunk, and then he comes back. And it even feels like a lot of the humor can be forced at times. It feels like it doesn't have as much heart as the first two, so it feels like it's kind of emotionally hollow in that type of regard. It's watchable, but it's a film that if I'm gonna watch a Santa Claus movie, I will watch the original and the second, probably 99 times before I'm gonna rewatch this one. I am not gonna rewatch this one if I have the option of one or two. Definitely not. Ugh, great. Now we have Home Alone 3. Ugh. I'm gonna put this one in colon your stocking as well. I hate it. It is so bad. It is terrible. It feels like a direct-to-video sequel, yet it was actually released in the theaters. It's going at the top of colon your stocking, but it is. But don't get me wrong, it is terrible. I can definitely say, I mean, I can definitely say this is a terrible movie. I mean, I cannot believe it was released in the theaters. I mean, it was not received well. The critics didn't like it. Nobody liked it. So it was so bad that it actually killed the franchise's chance of Home Alone getting into theaters. One is still the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time. Two is, I believe, close to that title. Three was also hilariously failed in terms of what people thought it was going to be, and it was so bad. 4, 5, and 6 went to direct-to-video. They went direct-to-video. They were direct-to-video sequels. And it shows how unbelievably terrible those ones range from. I mean, I get Macaulay Culkin did not want to be in the third one. That does not mean that you have an excuse to just make a film without him. Home Alone needs Macaulay Culkin. I mean, they can't do it nowadays because I mean, if someone says Home Alone, like Kevin's back and Home Alone's a grown-up. Dude, that's literally grown-ups every day. That's their usually their job to be home alone. Unless you're a parent. But otherwise, you're literally just making one of the most dumb plot lines possibly ever. And believe me, there's a big line of that. So, I think this movie's terrible. So, there's no surprise it's in coal in your stocking because it deserves coal in its stocking. Now we have Fred Claus, naughty list probably. I mean, it wasn't very good. I would probably say I prefer Santa Claus 3. I mean, it's just that some of the humor does not really land well. I think it's boring at times. I kept on fighting to do this one, watch this movie instead of 8-Bit. We did 8-Bit first and Fred Claus. I wish we had done Fred Claus first because then we could have gotten the worst movie over with. The worst movie over with first because Fred Claus we could have done, then we could have done 8-Bit because 8-Bit is far superior. I thought this movie was okay when I first saw it, but it just keeps getting worse and worse as I think about it. So I didn't really enjoy it, and I think the person that plays it, I can't remember his name, but I know he's like this guy that he can be painfully unfunny at times. He's in the second Jurassic Park. He's more known for like comedic roles, so he's just not very good in it. Now we have the Christmas Chronicles. We have a Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2. I'll do them at the same time. So we have the first one, which will go in festive. We'll go right behind there. Yeah, Kurt Russell's great in these movies. The second one will go at the right behind the original. I think that Kurt Russell's great in both of them. He's just somebody that's very charismatic and just has so much charisma to him and just has so much chemistry with all these lead characters. Kurt Russell, he's a great guy. He's an awesome guy. He picks some great movies, and he's like I like how he's a lot more of like the sassy type Santa, and how he's like that fat thing of when like Santa's not fat. Like he's when people say you're not Santa, you're supposed to be fat, and he's like that's a rumor. It's not true. It's so funny. I thought it was pretty good, and so I do enjoy both of these movies. They're definitely movies that I have fun with. And I have a ton of fun, probably with, I think the original is better, but I would say they're both really entertaining. And now we have the film that I just got done watching in preparation because I really wanted to include it on this video. Jingle All the Way. And I think we all know where this one's going. Christmas classic, baby. I will go, I'm going to get hate for this one, over Elf. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I love Jingle All the Way. It's great. I loved it. So I think that it's a Christmas classic, baby, and I think we all know that amazing line that has been quoted to death. Put that cookie down now.
Put that cookie down now.
It's just so great. That Austrian accent really sucked, and just the way that there's some times I have good Austrian accents like that's a good Austrian accent partially, but there's times my Austrian accent sucks. So if I sneeze in the next few minutes, that's because my nose is starting to run. I've been talking for a long time, so I just love Jingle All the Way. It's a great Arnold film, and I think this is definitely a great film. It's 4.5 out of 5 for me. So is Elf, but still, sue me. I love me some Jingle All the Way. It's a Christmas classic. I think it's great. I just find it's very heartwarming at times. It has great comedy, and it has like that scene which I think I showed, and I hope I did. If not, I'm gonna be angry that I didn't show it, because I'll notice it sometime. I'll be like, oh dang it, I forgot to put that in. So, this is gonna be a slog to edit. This video had better do well, guys, because I'm the guy who's gonna be having to. I'm the guy that has to edit this, and boy, you guys, editing videos like this one is gonna take a long time. So I had better at least get a few views, because this is gonna take a long time to edit. So that is my tier list of all the Christmas movies I've ever seen, or at least all the ones I know. This is a one-time thing, I believe, if not maybe one more time in my life. But this was a huge thing. This was exhausting, and this was definitely a really fun thing. So make sure, everyone, to hit that like button, because believe me, I think I've earned it. You have no idea how exhausting this has been and will be in the future, because I'm the one editing this in a few seconds, where I'm gonna have to start editing. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop some Christmas movies that you watch every year, or where you would place all the movies here in their respective tiers. And make sure to ask me if you can for some ranking ideas that you want. And if you have any movie recommendations for me, I will be sure to put it on my radar. But right now, it won't be for 2023. I'm finishing up 2023 new releases. I still got to get done. I got to get The Creator done. Haunted Mansion. I got to get Rebel Moon Part 1 done. I have to get Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes done. I have a lot of movies I need to get done for 2023. I'm doing a list of all of them on December 31st. On New Year's Eve, I believe. Or either New Year's Eve or day. I can't remember. I don't know. I'll find out soon. But that is my tier list. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. This was exhausting. And have a good one. Wait just one little minute. I forgot one. I'm sorry. I will say it in a second. Hold on. Okay, now we have Christmas Vacation. Christmas Vacation will go in nice list, and I will go right about here. No, here. I think I enjoy it, but I think like, this is my dad's favorite Christmas film, so I mean I think it's good, but I think it has a lot of mean-spirited jokes, and some of the comedy doesn't land. It can get a bit like, it's some of the comedy doesn't land. There's like a really funny joke about, like, where a guy says, after a cat blows up, he says, that cat had 9 lives, he just spent them all. That's an hilarious joke, but I think some of the comedy doesn't land, so I have fun with it, but it's just not a movie that, if I have the option to Die Hard, I think we all know what I'm going to choose. I think most people will choose Die Hard. So, thank you, everyone. That is my ranking. That is my tier list of all the Christmas movies I have ever seen ranked. I debated about putting First Blood on here because there's a Christmas tree in the background and people say Merry Christmas, but I decided no. I may do it next year, though. I mean, not next year, but I may do it in the future, but that is my tier list of all of them. Make sure to comment if you are up for the challenge of where you would place all these movies in their respective tiers. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a good one.